I know you went and bought your Timberlands right after that. Welcome to the Shooter's Corner podcast. I'm your host, AJ Guyton, where we don't do it for likes, clicks, or views. We do it for the love of the game and authentic basketball stories. I'm here with one of the all-time greats who happens to be a friend of mine, who happens to be a former teammate of mine on multiple levels. He was a state of Minnesota basketball legend, college basketball legend, three-time state champion, Big East Rookie of the Year, help UConn to the first ever 1999 National Championship, 1998 Goodwill's gold medalist, NBA draft pick by the Chicago Bulls, all rookie pick, also played in the Rising Stars Challenge and had a long and productive professional career. I'm here with my partner, Khalid El-Amin. What's up, brother? How you doing,
What's up,
man?
brother? Man, much respect, man. I'm doing well, AJ, man. It's an honor to be on your podcast, brother. And man, let's do it.
You was on my heart to call you last week. I don't know.
Right.
That's how I move, man. When I feel something, I don't know what I saw, what made me think of you. It was just on my heart. So let me call and check up on you because I don't know if you remember the last time we spoke. It was at a party in Israel, I think we were in.
Israel?
We was in another
I
country.
remember that now.
I just remember you walking up to me and I was in disbelief because I was not expecting you to see you there. Because you were playing in Turkey. I think I was playing in Israel. We weren't playing each other that day.
Yeah.
And you walked up to me and like it was like a movie. You walked up to me and you like, I don't know if you remember what you said, but I'm gonna tell you what you said.
Okay.
You said, I messed up. That ain't the word you use, but you was like, I messed up. And I knew exactly what you was talking about. And I was like, I just told you this ain't even the place, bro. You here. And you doing what you here, you where you supposed to be. But I just thought that was just crazy that I'm partying, having a good time. And Khalid El-Amin, of all people in the same club. So man, that's the last time I talked to you until last week. But But I use this podcast to get our stories out there, to get stories of the heroes of the game, lesser known heroes of the game, and to catapult them into that status of that legendary status, but also using their stories to share with students and kids who aspire to become and get in this game. And you know, it's such a different speed right now. The game is that we got to use what we've learned. We got to use our instincts and things to teach these kids how to navigate this business, man. And that's why I specifically want to talk to you. But on this podcast, man, I start from the very beginning, man. Let's start from Minneapolis, Minnesota is where you were raised. Take us back to that time period when you were a toddler, when you were a kid, what it was like growing up in your household and what type of kid you were.
Yes, man. So, man, I am the fifth child from my father, Charles El-Amin, my mother, Arlene El-Amin. Both of them born and raised in Chicago, AJ. They joined the Nation of Islam back in the 50s. And so living in Chicago, being part of the nation, being part of building a new nation, right? Elijah Muhammad actually gave my father the job to go to Minneapolis, to relocate to Minneapolis and actually start a mosque in Minneapolis. So being the loyal member of the Nation of Islam, my father took so much pride into doing that. So relocated his family from Chicago to Minneapolis. Never been there before. Back in 1976. I believe, started our family over in Minneapolis. So built the mosque up. They're a very integral part of the Muslim community in Minneapolis, man. You know, stuck around the community, pillars actually in the community. Our whole family was. And so I grew up in that environment, man, wanting to do for self. You know, my father was big on entrepreneurship, having your own, doing for self. And, you know, growing up in Minneapolis back then, it was a real tight-knit community, I would say. You know, Minneapolis is not that big of a city, but the Black community, you know, was very tight-knit. You know who lives in your city. You know who they are. You're going to run across them. Being that we're such a small neighborhood, you know, we were pretty known, in the neighborhood growing up, known for being the Muslim family who lived up on the hill. I heard, a lot of references to our family. Yeah, that's the Muslim family that lives on the hill,
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
grew up in that environment. I had two older brothers,
Mhm.
Makram and Ishmael. Of course, the younger brother always wants to be around the older
Absolutely.
brothers.
Yeah.
And so, I always was hanging out, with their friends. Being I was, such a youngster, I didn't know the
Mhm.
difference. I felt like I was one of them, right?
Right.
So my father ended up putting a basketball goal on our garage at the
Mhm.
age, I was 4 years old.
Ooh, okay.
And so I can just see, all the neighborhood guys would come over to the house, and our place was the place to hang out. You put a basketball rim up, you know what I mean? The neighborhood guys is going, they're going to take to it, right? So
Absolutely.
we had guys always stopping by, I was always shooting, and I saw the difference from when we were playing basketball, when we wasn't playing basketball. Playing basketball, it gave us such joy, right?
Yeah.
Take our mind off of all our problems, and me wanting to be like my older brothers. I wanted to be good like them. I wanted to be able to do the things that they do. But needless to say, your older brothers and their friends, they're going to treat you like how they treat their friends. If I want to be a part of their society, they're going to treat me like that. So as soon as I get the ball, they're taking it from me, and they're not allowing me to get one dribble. I can't even get a clean look at the shot. They blocking my shot all the way down the block. We got to go walk down and get the ball. All that little brother stuff we did. So growing up in that, I understood that, if I was going to play with them, I was going to have to learn how to handle the ball, learn how to protect the ball, learn how to get my shot off when I only have a split second, right, to
Right.
do that. So I think growing up like that really forced me to grow up as a player fast. I learned how to navigate playing against older players, against bigger players than me.
Mhm.
And so, just became second nature. But getting back to my family, real tight knit family. The support from my mother and father gave me was like no other. I think that's the
Mhm.
reason why I had so much confidence, because I
Mhm.
knew that I was loved. I knew that I was on the right track,
Yeah.
doing what I was supposed to be doing. So that gave me a lot of confidence to just go out and do my best. I can remember playing on my older brother's team. We were trying out one summer. I was like in the second grade, AJ, and
Mhm.
my older brother was like 4 or 5 grades older than me. So I'm playing, actually, I'm in the second grade. I'm playing with 6th and 7th graders during the season. And then the summer comes up and it's AAU. So they're getting a team of 6th and 7th graders to go down to Texas to play AAU.
Right.
I'm a second grader. So it's time for the tryouts. I'm trying out. I did my thing after the tryout. They had everybody sit down and they called the names out, who made the team. And I just, for some reason, knew I was going to get my name called because I'm one of them. Like, I play with these guys every day. What do you mean, right? So I'm waiting to hear my name called, and my name was never called.
Wow.
And that was the first time, that, second grade, that I kind of failed at basketball, right? And I knew that I didn't like that feeling. I wasn't going to be able to go to Texas. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to be able to hang out with them. And that really hit me hard. So that summer, from getting cut until that next basketball season,
Mhm.
I don't know what got in me. I must have had the Mamba mentality back there, but that's
Right.
when my game made the jump. Bottom line, from
Mhm.
being disappointed like that
Mhm.
and knowing that I didn't want to feel that no more, man, I had really worked hard, and didn't allow that to break me. Continue to put the work in, and then after that summer, man, my game just shot up. Like I was able to improve my skill. I was able to play with the older guys, and I started making a name for myself. So, needless to say, growing up with a lot of notoriety, being
Mhm.
able to play with the older guys at the local YMCA, that is where the guys around the community, we would fellowship at the YMCA, playing from 7 to 10, 7 to 11. You had the older guys, the OGs playing with the younger guys. You had all that game that being displayed, all that game being talked about, right? On the court and off the court. So I was like a sponge soaking it up. soaking it up. All the you know, the older guys who was cold in hoop, just watching them, then going and practicing their moves. Then you had the high school guys, the guys that was actually in high school then. They're like stars to me, you know, they're battling these guys. I'm watching them, and I was really the only youngster to really be able to play with them. You know, well, I could say me and Devin George. Devin George, you know, he's from North Side, just like me. He's a
shout
little
out
bit
Devin
older
George.
than me, but he wasn't as tall. He wasn't 6'7" back then. He was a little guy, damn near a little bit taller than me. So his brother had to, you know, fight for him to play on the court. So needless to say, we were the only two guys that was able to play up. And that's where, you know, I was able, you know, to also learn basketball IQ, right? Being smarter than your opponent. I don't know. Something was in the water back then that, you know, you really prided yourself on being smarter than your opponent. And I think that's where I got that from. Having to play with older guys, you know, it's a packed gym. If you lose, you're not getting back on. So you had to play smart. You had to fight. You know, you had to do all the hustling. That's where I really learned and hone my skills but that didn't only just help me basketball wise. That helped me growing up as a person. It made me tough, right? It made me have thick skin. It made me compete. All those things, you know. So I think, you know, just growing up with my family, tight knit family, the way we conducted ourselves, you know, the way the support that we support ourselves, and then our community, building a strong Muslim community here in Minneapolis, being, you know, one of the founding families in that. You know, we have prestige. We took a lot of pride in that. I always carried myself like that, and that's how, you know, I became the person I was. You know, parents always being supportive, tough. You know, tough love. You know, when I was doing the right thing, they always supported me. But when I did the wrong thing, you know, I was disciplined for it. And I think that was another thing, you know, that helped me stay grounded. It helped me stay humble. Was the consequences that when I did something wrong, right? I always thought about, you know, what I was going to do, because I did fear the consequences of my parents.
Right.
And so I think that just helped me grow as a person and as a player growing up my early years in Minneapolis.
You said it all right there. But one thing that's important to me, and I like kids to try to identify this early, is we take our personality traits from each of our parents, and then our siblings and our family, they help mold
Yes.
us. But it starts with mom and dad.
Yeah.
What personality traits did you take from each parent, and how did it help you as a basketball player and as a person?
Wow, that's a great question, man. I think
Yeah.
AJ, my father, man,
Mhm.
you know, God bless him. May God, you know, grant him paradise. He passed a couple of years ago.
God bless.
So you know, talking about him still gets me emotional a little bit. But you know, man, it seemed like my father would wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, man. Before the sun comes up, he's up. He was a bus driver, school bus driver.
Mhm.
So yeah, he had to be up early, you know, be on his route. And it seemed like he didn't come home until after the sun went down, right? So he's going all day working, busting his butt, you know. So I think I learned my work ethic, and seeing him getting up every day doing that,
Mhm.
really never complain. At least I never heard him complain. I'm sure he did complain, right? Because I know I complain. So I'm sure he did complain, but I never heard it. And him just doing it and day in, day out for years, man. Over 30 years driving that bus. Um, so I think I got my grit from him.
Yeah.
But he always was intelligent though, right? Pushing us to be smart, pushing us to always wanted to do more, right? All like I said, always wanting us to do for self. He instilled that type of drive um, in me, man.
Mhm.
And the support that he gave me, he made it okay for me to want to dominate and be okay with it. Like I think sometimes players we can dominate, but sometimes we shy away from it because you know we might not feel it's the right way. But he encouraged that, and so that's what gave me that dog to go out and just to be who I was. And for my mother, man, my mother though, she's so intelligent.
Mhm.
You know, man, went to high school early. You know, she was just barely a teenager. graduating from high school, taking college courses early, just being a phenomenal woman, man.
Yeah.
And I think I just get my humbleness from her. You know, she always, you know, quoted the Quran to me, quoting scripture to me, man, make me think about what I'm doing, wanting to do the right thing, right? Even when
Yeah.
it's not the right thing to do, or even when it's not the, I don't say, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that, when it's not the popular thing to do, still
Right.
doing the right thing. Um, you know, just always wanted me to be my best. So putting my, you know, my best foot forward. I think I get that from her, but you
Mhm.
know, just being a good person, right? She always wanted
Absolutely.
to instill that in me. So I
Mhm.
get those traits from my mom and my dad. And I think that's what really helped me be successful in life, helped me be successful on the court for sure. Yeah, man, I get those traits from them.
Awesome, man. And but let me ask you this: how did you balance like being a Muslim kid growing up, and playing basketball at the same time? Because I mean, I'm not as versed of the Muslim community, but there are certain things you can't do. Certain
Yeah.
places, like how did you balance that as a kid?
I mean, it was tough. It was
Hmm.
tough, right? Because let's be honest, like my where we grew up in the neighborhood, and you
Right.
know,
Hmm.
we grew up in the neighborhood right there. So you know, I'm walking to school. I'm walking straight down the Ave. I'm seeing, you know, the 20 guys out there serving. You know what I'm talking about? 20 guys out there on the block serving. I'm walking straight through that. You know, we had our games and all that. So I'm not oblivious to this stuff, right? Yes, I'm right here in it. So I got friends that's doing their thing, friends that's doing that. And of course, right? Human beings. We are uh, beings of, we can be influenced, right? If we see something that's cool, that's going to influence us, right? So yeah, so I'm thinking guys are cool. I'm, you know, seeing them from afar. I know when I get to touch them. Guys are cool. So, and like I said, it's not like I grew up not, you know, just sheltered away from that. No, I was able to do some of that stuff too, right? So me growing up, gaining the notoriety and people knowing who I am and people know who my family is, right?
Hmm.
That's where the community keeps you in check, though. We say it takes a village, right? Yeah, I'm over here with these guys, right? And my face is recognizable, right? So I'm doing the wrong thing over here. People in the neighborhood know my people. They, man, what you doing? Right? So the neighborhood has a way of the community has a way of checking you, right? And of course, we don't want that type of business to get back to our parents because I am going to have to face the consequences there. So after a few run-ins like that, after a few you know lessons learned like that, AJ, you know, I had to learn how to navigate, and this is where you know your parents come in. My mom always told me, "You're different. You're not the same as your friends, right? What they can do, you can't do that." Unfortunately, you know what I mean? I don't care how fun you think it is, you know, but you can't do that. You're not the same as them, right? And us being young and really thinking we know it all, but really don't know anything, right? Man, I am just like them. You know what I mean? You want to prove to your friends that you ain't
Yeah,
changing. Right?
exactly.
That's the first thing we want to do to prove,
Yep.
man, I'm not changing. I'm still the same me. I'm getting notoriety here. I'm out here. I'm getting newspaper clippings in the newspaper. You know, the TV stations is pulling up on us everywhere. We're young celebrities. Right? So you can't. I couldn't do that. But that's what I had to learn, though. That's what I had to navigate. Right? Understanding that I'm not the same, and understanding that you can't do what everybody else do, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So yes, man, I had those battles of wanting to do what
Yeah.
everybody else is doing, but also I had the battles of understanding of who we were and who I was and what I should have been doing, right? So whenever I got in trouble or something bad happened, I was doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So that's the things that I had to deal with and I had to learn. And I thank God for me going through those lessons and understanding that early because that's what I try to instill in my children, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Hmm.
man, I love those lessons learned, those things that I learned, but I love my parents for preparing me for that and having the support system to help navigate those tough issues with me, though. That was a blessing.
Who was an early coach or mentor that shaped or was instrumental in your development on and off the court?
Man, you got some really good questions, brother. So, for me, growing up, my elementary school Fayette teacher was our neighborhood North High School, the school that I went to. He was the head basketball coach at North High. So I was in heaven. I'm in heaven. My gym teacher is North High basketball, the head coach at North High. I'm like, and I know the North High school history. Like, I was a student of the game. And I think, a lot of players in today's, and I ain't going to just say about today, but a lot of players, they're not students of the game, right? They don't know the history of maybe their high school and the players that came before them that paved the way that you should know about, right? That you should show the utmost respect to, because you're really standing on their shoulders, right?
Yep.
The big winning tradition that North High had, the winning tradition, the neighborhood school, North High School, right? That meant something to me. Like, that was a part of who I was. I was the water boy coming up for North High School. So, like I said, these players were like superstars for me growing up. And so just having that North Side pride, having that pride about, that school pride, it was that it just shaped me, man. Wanting to be a Polar, even when I was coming up, man. It just it really affected me and helped me want to be great, right? Wanting to do something good for our school, our community, growing up, right? So I was able to do that all because I had the love for the school and for our community.
How impactful was your mentor? Like, what type of things did he or she help you with?
Man,
as you navigated?
Coach Ingram was always calm.
Yeah, I like that.
You never seen him rattled. No matter how crucial of the moment in the game was, no matter if it was down 10 with 2 minutes, he always had a calm demeanor. And I think that's what I got most from him. Absolutely. He was always a basketball IQ guy. He's smart on the court, do all those great things, right? But just him being calm, right? I think I never really got rattled, right, in any situation because of that. And I think, that helped me. That helped me, especially playing with guys my age. I was like a man amongst boys because I could think and play at the same time. I could do a lot of things that they weren't used to doing because I had played with the older guys. I had already done this, right? So the game was in slow motion for me when I played my age. But, having to play up, you got to be smart. You got to, find how you can be effective and affect the game.
Right.
And so I kind of learned that early on, how I could affect the game, and I became good at that.
This is completely random before we exit out of the early life of Khalid El-Amin. What is the impact of Prince on you?
We talk about the pride, right? We talk about having pride in where you come from, having pride in what you do, right? Somebody who grew up on the same streets that I grew up on can go make it and be such a big icon in the world, right? And he still comes home and does things for the community that maybe you don't even know about, right? But he's always back. He's not, you can't always see him, but he does come back, but he's always giving back and doing so. That always affected me. Like, man, this man is larger than life, but he still is in the community. He still wants to help out and do good things, right? So that is how he affected me the most. Yeah, I like his music, Diamonds and Pearls, all the hits, that he has made. But it was him coming back. It was him, helping the community and always seeming like he was down to earth. Never seeming like he was arrogant, even though I'm sure he had a reason to be arrogant, but he seemed like he was always down to earth. And I think I took that a lot of that from him also, right?
Mhm.
Not trying to be arrogant, staying humble, and just representing your home. And he's the best that has done that.
Did you ever meet him?
I did not. I did not meet him personally, but shit, I felt like I had met him because of everything that he has done, the effect that he has had on our community and our state. I felt like I have known him, and shit, when he passed, it hurt like I knew him.
Absolutely, yeah. The city hurt, definitely. Let's go move into the high school, man.
Okay.
What was the moment in high school is a game, a tournament, a matchup where you said to yourself and you solidified yourself as one of the best and you knew it and your confidence grew from that moment. What was
And
that
one of the
moment?
best. What do you mean, like?
Like you knew you was like, I'm one of the great, I'm one of the best in this city. I'm solidified.
I
And
think it was before that for me.
it was before that?
Yeah, I played varsity as an eighth grader.
Oh, okay. See.
So I didn't really, it was before that, right? So, you know, coming in as an eighth grader, man, you know, dealing with the upperclassmen, wanting to rough you up, you know, um, but always understood that, our game is going to do the talking. Yeah, you're going to beat me up. Yes, you are going to beat me up. But when we're on this court, you're not going to beat me up, right? There's rules to this. So I understood that. So I think it was an eighth grade moment, man. I was the sixth man, like coming off the bench, and it was a rivalry game. It was North versus South, and I came off the bench, man, and I think we were down a player, right?
Mhm.
Something happened because I can just remember in the game where we weren't scoring, right? And it was my first time really taking over as a scorer for the team, right? I was a role player. I'm eighth grade, I just want to come in and give us a boost and play good defense and all that. But this night, particularly night at South, on the road, we needed scoring. And
Mhm.
I could
Yep.
just hear a couple of guys in the crowd was like, man, we need you to score. We need you to score, right? And I said, oh, okay. And so I started getting aggressive, and it
Mhm.
was working, and it was working. And so I think that's when the light bulb switched. Like, I can do this, right? I don't have to be that role player, right? I can put my imprint on the game, but do it in the right way. Do it, in a way where
Absolutely. It's in the
it's,
flow of the game.
yes, it's in the flow of the game. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's when I think being an eighth grader on the road, hostile environment, um, and being able to score 20 points. Uh, basically in the second half, man, it was like I said, it made the flashlight or the light bulb go off, and I solidified. I had enough confidence to continue to do it.
Yeah, your chest was out in the
Yes,
neighborhood
it
after that
was. Yeah,
game.
I
That's
was
that's what
beating
I'm
my
looking
chest a
for.
little bit. Hey, I was in the eighth grade. I'm gonna give this little quick story. I was in the eighth grade. That next morning, you get the newspaper. They got the box scores in there, how much you
Yep.
scored and all that. And rest in peace. His name was Ross. He was white, but at the same time,
Mhm.
he was one of us, right? He was a cool guy, right? And so he was, we were forget what class, he looking at the newspaper, right? And he was like, we're in class, the teacher's teaching, but he got the newspaper. He was like, yelled across. He was like, and he did surprise, like, God, you had 20 last night? Right in front of everybody. And a lot of people even know I even played, right? So it was like a big deal in the class. Everybody turned and looked. It was like, what?
They
Like,
like him?
yes, it was a big deal.
That's
Um,
dope.
and so yes, man. And so that's yeah. I kind of
Mhm.
I kind of had confidence, for the rest of my life after that.
So God bless me. But we couldn't play up eighth grade varsity when that's why I asked that question with the high school. So that's enlightening too. And that helps you develop quicker because you gotta match that type of energy, that type of strength early. So that is beyond dope. But watching your high school tape, I never watched you play in high school until I started preparing to talk to you. The one thing that stuck out about you was you would always mature beyond your years. You always knew where people were supposed to be. You were the consummate point guard, but you can see the way you handle confidence. Get over there. I don't even know if you really was even supposed to be over there, but you like where did you
No, they
develop
was.
that?
They was supposed to be
They're
over
supposed to
there.
be.
They was. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I remember coming into the league, I was told that by a scout. I was like, man, you got to be able to direct. Like I wasn't a pure pointer. I was just a combo before the combos. And they were trying to tell me like, and they pointed you out as an example. Like, look how he points and he leads. But my question to you is, where did you develop that type of bravado, that type of confidence, that type of maturity, and better yet, at that age, an understanding of the game to
Yeah.
make sure people were in the right place? Where did you develop that type of ability?
I can only say, and I'm being 100% honest, is growing up playing at those YMCA those nights, man,
Yep.
and seeing how how packed the gym was and how you had to win to stay on. But like I said, you had to use your basketball IQ. You had to be smart on the court. You had to outthink and outsmart the next person, right?
Mhm.
I had to be like that. I'm 5'9 3/4, man. Like that's all I am. And so if I'm going to be effective on the court, I got to use my strengths, right? And
Mhm.
my character. And I think that is being a leader, wanting to help others, get others off. But growing up playing at the YMCA against those older guys really helped me become that leader, be vocal,
Yep.
get players
Mhm.
in the right situations and right spots. And like I was a student of the game, I saw point guards and how they, Isaiah Thomas,
Yes.
right? Growing up, watching him, watching all the point guards at the University of Minnesota. You had Melvin Newbern, you had Ariel McDonald, you had Townsend Orr. He came off the bench.
Shout out.
And you know where he from out your way,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? So
Yep.
I had all of these great players right here,
Yep.
right in my backyard that I could watch, that I can learn from. Needless to say, the point guards at North High, the Brett McNeils, the Doug Carters, the Charles Jackson, all these great players, And I know I'm missing out on a lot of you. So when you guys see that, don't
Yeah.
kill me. I'm just,
Yeah. No doubt.
don't blame it on
Yep.
my mind, not my heart. Learning from all those players and then taking that and putting it into my game. I was a
Mhm.
great guy at taking from others and putting in my game, right? So,
Yep.
like I said, I studied the game. I watched these point guards, how they conducted themselves on the court, and I took pride in that. And I
Mhm.
wanted to be that, right? I wanted to be the extension of the coach on the floor. That's what the point guard is supposed to be, and I took pride in that.
Well, I heard a comment from Rick Pitino the other day. I don't know if you heard this comment saying that the point guard doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if you remember that, if you
Yeah,
heard that
I heard that.
comment. Question to you is, how does that impact the game that as you can see and as you're watching it today? I do agree with him. I don't like to hear that statement because point guards are essential to
Yeah.
how the game flows. So that's not something you should say like happily. But why are we devoid of point guards in the game today?
I think the game has changed. I think you can say that because it's not a lot of mid-range game. It's not like a lot of in-between game. And I think that's where a lot of point guards made their living. I'm
Right.
hearing people in the NBA saying the mid-range shot is a bad shot. So that eliminates a lot of those point guard shots, right? I
Yeah.
think that for me, so to speak, right? I know I can probably get past my first guy, get the guy guarding me. I can get past that, but I'm not going to be able to get to the rim, not every single time. So when I get past my guy, I got to be able, before that help comes, I got to be
Mhm.
able to get my shot off and be comfortable in doing that. And a
Yep.
lot of times it's the mid-range shot right before the helps get there. I can pull up for the mid-range shot, or I get into the lane and I can shoot a floater, whether off 1 foot or the jump stop off 2 feet. I was very comfortable in doing that. Those shots are considered bad shots now. So it's either you're going to shoot a three or you're getting all the way to the rim. And I think for point guards, small point guards especially, right, 6 foot and under, that hurt us, right? We're not able to we can play great defense, get up and pressure the ball and do all those good things, but offensively, right, it takes us kind of out the game because we're either shooting a three, we're not in attack mode, so to speak, and so we're not allowed to be who we are. I think that's the part of the game that has been taken out that was such vital to the point guard. So you can get just a taller player who can start on offense, get it, set it, and get going, get the movement going. You don't need a traditional point guard to do that. You'd rather have size. You'd rather have a defender there. So unfortunately, they can say, there aren't any point guards anymore, but the teams that has that guard that can play that point guard role, that can set up the offense, that can do a lot of the probing, do a lot of the get guys easy looks. Those are the new type of point guard. Not new type, but those are the type of guys that are effective in today's game. And so you don't have to initially be the pass first type of guy in this day and age. If you can score and defend, you're going to be on the court. And that's all you have to be able to do.
The lack of a point guard is what's contributing to what we call accidental basketball today. Because now but you look at, I was watching the national championship last year, and the team with the better point guard won. And Walter Clayton Jr. kind of remind me of you. Like that's size-wise, ability-wise, moxie-wise. I just don't want coaches to really listen to that and say, you know what, he right. We don't need. Yes, you do.
Like I said, the best teams have the point guard that can still do those things. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, and you can tell like the game has changed. A lot of the older players, right? They're saying that how the game is one-dimensional, two-dimensional. There's not a lot of throwing the ball inside, playing off of that. You can tell the game has changed, but I think the point guard being able to get in there, do your thing, mid-range shots, floaters, getting guys involved, the smaller guys, that's what we were good at. That's what, helped us impact the game. It's just not a lot of coaches that in analytics, that's not going to allow you to do that.
Exactly. 3 straight state titles in Mr. Basketball, just phenomenally impressive. Why were you able and your teammates able to dominate the state of Minnesota like that?
Well, coming in, now we talk going back to having pride.
Yeah.
Right. Coming into high school, like I said, I'm a student of the game. My high school, North High School, we won the state tournament in 1980. We had, multiple great teams that should have went to the state tournament. Right. 85, 86, 87, 88. Those are my brother's teams, 87, 88. My brother played on those teams. I'm the water boy. Right. Unfortunately, we got knocked out by some good teams. I can't lie. They were pretty good, but we should have won. So needless to say, we won in 80 and we hadn't had another title. Right. We were close to getting to the state tournament. 91, we did get to the state tournament, but lost in the championship. So we hadn't tasted a state championship in a decade before I got there. Right. So me knowing that and me knowing that I need to put North back on the map. I had that motivation to do that, right? Because we had some, lackluster years coming in. My 8th grade year, it wasn't the best season for us, as far as wins and losses. This is a school that had winning tradition, that's used to winning, that's used to hanging banners up there. So after 8th grade, we lost. I kind of said, I'm going to bring us back. And I didn't have to do it by myself. I had good teammates, good guys that can ball on the side of me. And we were able to do that. My 9th grade year, we fell a little bit short to another Minneapolis team who ended up winning the state tournament that year. So I couldn't be upset. They grew up on the same streets as us. They had a better team than us that year.
Yeah.
And so I had to, I had to shake their hand. But coming back my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I wasn't going to be denied those years. I worked so hard in those summers to get better, had great AAU seasons those summers. And so I was looking forward to putting us back on the map. You know, we went 30-0 sophomore year. We was on a mission, man. We was undefeated when we won the first state tournament. And then my junior year, my confidence was just up here. I had just come from ABCD camp that summer. I was top underclassman. Right. So, you know, at the end of the camp, they're announcing the all tournament team. You know, you got Kobe, you got Tim Thomas, you know, you got Lamar Odom, you got Melvin Eli, you know, all the big time guys from that class, man. I can go on and on. Jermaine.
Baron Davis, one of them.
Baron Davis, you know, he was a Nike guy. He wasn't an ABC. Oh, he's Nike. He was on the Nike. Yeah. He was for sure. He was, you know, one of the top players in our class. But he was on the West Coast, so he wasn't coming to the ABCD Adidas camp. But being called, having my name called, you know, amongst those guys, and being the top underclassman, just really put my confidence at an all-time high. And I think this is the first time I really became arrogant. I became arrogant a little bit, because if you wasn't on my level, I was showing you that you wasn't on my level. So exactly, and it was okay. I enjoyed dominating. I didn't feel sorry for anybody. So I was arrogant in that sense. It was like a dream come true, man. From a guy being from Minneapolis, going out to the East Coast, grew up listening to East Coast hip hop. I kind of thought I was kind of East Coast already.
You understood them, yeah.
I was kind of East Coast already. Going out to the East Coast and doing work like that and being recognized, man, it felt so good, so humbling, man. I remember right after that, the New York Gauchos. I had a player, Ramel Lloyd.
Yep, I know the name. Yep.
He went to Long Beach, and he was on my team at ABCD first. But he played with the Gauchos. And unfortunately, their point guard for the Gauchos got hurt at ABCD camp. So he wasn't going to be able to go to Vegas that summer. So I played with Rock. He loved my game. He was like, yo, won't you come play with us, Wooty Woo? And then he went and got the coach. And the coach like, yes, we want you. And me being from Minneapolis, back then it wasn't considered a basketball state. Me having such notoriety coming out, going to the ABCD camp, getting top underclassmen, then having a prestige AAU team like the New York City Gauchos come and ask you to come play with them. You couldn't. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing this justice. Like it was such a big moment from me.
Yeah, that was because basketball on the East Coast was everything, especially when they rated point guards, because all the best point guards was coming out of the East Coast.
Man,
Stephon, Kenny Anderson.
Yes.
You for a New York program to stamp you.
Yes.
Like, I know you went and bought your Timberlands right after that. Straight up.
You're right. You're right. But to have them come and ask, and I had my big bro with me, I felt so good, man. And it was like so surreal. All I can do was just cry. I start crying because that was unheard of for me. I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that the New York City Gauchos would come, right? And me getting top underclassmen at that camp. Yeah. All right. So needless to say, my confidence was on 10 going back. I'm coming back to the crib.
Yeah.
I am hurting everyone. Everyone was getting it then, man. So it was a great moment. It was great accolades to receive those, man. And like I said, it just pushed my confidence to the next level. So junior year, everybody got it. Everybody. Right. So we was going to go undefeated again. We lost one game that year on the road in a hostile environment. Oh, man, it was a great game, but we ended up losing. We just lost one game my junior year, and then senior year, you know, we were able to do the three-peat.
Walk me through the game winner.
The game winner, which
was that sophomore year?
For the championship.
Yeah.
So
that one. What you talking about? Oh, that one. No,
it was a couple of. I had a couple of game winners in the state tournament. I just had to make sure we were talking about the same one. Yeah. No, I ain't never gonna do that to you, AJ. I know all the games. I ain't never gonna. I never gonna big time you like that.
No, I'm sitting here like, dude, you hit a game winner for the state title. What in high school could be bigger than that? But obviously, you had a few of them.
Yeah, so so the one you're talking about, that was in the quarterfinals though.
Oh,
That was in the quarter. That wasn't the state tournament. I mean the championship. That was the quarters. But sophomore, yep, the championship game, my sophomore year, right? We're in overtime, we're battling. Man, we got down like 15, 20 points early that game. Yes, we had 3 starters who unfortunately didn't get the grades. The grade, we don't want to get into that story. The grades came out, they didn't have the grades, so they took 3 of our starters off out the game. So we had to play shorthanded. But man, my brothers stepped up. Those guys, we did it by committee. But I had the last second shot. I airballed, but my man was there to tip it in for the championship in sophomore year. So that solidified the undefeated season. Okay, so the quarterfinals, St. Thomas Academy, we're battling. They had 2 6'8" guys. Our tallest guy was 6'3", 6'4", maybe. Yeah. So they're cleaning up the glass on us. They're beating us, right? Well, fortunate for us, I had one of my better games, had 41 points. Was able to hit a 3 at the last second, man. But again, AJ, man, I already went through these plays thousands of times on the court. These last second plays, getting the ball, having to dribble up the length of the court with 5 seconds left, get it and getting my shot off. I practiced that. I did that. So I wasn't nervous at all. Muscle memory, I call it, right? So I was able to do that, hit that shot, win. And then that just propelled us to win the semis. And then I don't think the championship was close. And then that just propelled us for senior year to go out with a bang. I had great teammates though, man. I didn't do it on my own. I had great teammates, and our coaching staff just, had us prepared, had us ready.
This is outstanding. I got one line for you. McDonald's All-American Game, 1997. Tell us about that experience.
Being from Minneapolis, Minnesota, that was unheard of for a player from Minnesota. Going to the McDonald's game. I'm not sure if we had one before. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe one, maybe. But I know it was a big deal for me and my family. Understanding this is when I am playing against Baron Davis, Larry Hughes, Tony Harris, all of these great guards, man, from across the nation, man. And the practices were like none over I don't even think I scored during the practice. Like, that's how intense the practices were and how fast the game was going. I don't remember scoring in practice, but I remember we were battling out, we were getting after it. When the lights come on, I'm a gamer, so I was ready to go. But just being on that stage, but all knowing the history of the game with all those great players that played on that court before me, and just having that pride of representing Minnesota, man, it was a big deal. What can I say? It was a big deal, man, to be amongst those players. I can remember though. I remember it was Biggie. Biggie had just came out with his album. What was the
Life
name?
After Death.
Life After Death.
Yep.
And Lamar Odom's my roommate. So we're bumping Big, where he's bumping Big the whole time on repeat. The only thing that's being played is Big's new album, right?
Right.
I can remember we listening to the song Bone and Big with Bone and B.I.G. Song. And I can remember him rapping that song like, man, Big is the coldest. He flowed like Bone in that song. Like, I can remember him breaking it down, and I can remember, man, it just felt surreal. I remember I had kind of like just stepped outside of myself at that moment in that room, man, and just hovered over myself and just looked like, look what you're doing. You know what I mean? And my family was there, man. So it was awesome, man. I had my parents see that, my father meant the world to me, man. So yeah, man, great time.
I feel the joy. Before we get into your college decision, life came at you fast. You decided to get married.
Yes.
Before you went to school. What went into that decision?
I think my family, they really wanted me, my mother. Parents really wanted me to get married. They
Yep.
seen the notoriety that I
Yeah.
was getting, but that wasn't the main reason for it. But I think
It's
that
true.
did go into it, them pushing that. I think a little bit of pushback on my part, or who I wanted it to be and things of that nature. And so yeah, it was a thing that I felt was the right thing to do. Being around my mother, my father, it was normal. It was normal for me, right? I was the only, the sibling to get married at such a young age, but my parents thought, it was good for me, and so I did it. And needless to say, it
Mhm.
was kind of awkward a little bit at first, being in high school, being married. You know what I mean? Just having to navigate that. You get a lot of questions from your peers, right? Wanting to know, like, how is it? What's going on? And so it was cool. It was cool for me getting into it. I think it helped me though. It helped me,
Yeah.
especially that junior year. I was focused, man, all about hoop, and I was able to put up, probably the best numbers of my high school career because I was just focused. I was focused, man. It made me better. It was no question about it.
University of Minnesota's doing really well. Black coach doing an excellent job recruiting.
And let me just go to say this, man. Coach Clem Haskins was larger than life, brother.
Yep.
Like you said, the respectable black man, that the head coach at the
Yep.
University of Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
right? All of these players that I looked up to as superstars, he's controlling it. He's in control. Such a leader, the leader that he was. I wanted to play for that man. I knew I was going to play for that guy.
Right. Yep.
Right? I knew
Mm-hmm.
that because I'm a Minnesota guy.
Yep.
I wanted to be a Gopher. I ain't gonna lie. I committed to them my 10th grade year. I committed to the Gophers. So I was going to Minnesota for sure. Wasn't no doubt about it. I think, as we talked about earlier, we are creatures of influence. Being a human being, we are influenced. Being Lamar Odom's roommate after ABCD camp, I played with the Gauchos.
Yep.
And then my junior year, I played with the Long Island Panthers for
Okay.
AAU.
Mm-hmm.
So another New York team came and got me. Gary, ooh, Gee. Oh, man, Gee. Oh, my goodness, man. I can go. That's a whole nother podcast with that guy, man. So they came and picked me up. So being in the same hotel, right, and we're roommates, and the phone is ringing. I'm picking it up. It's Steve Fisher from Michigan calling for Lamar. It's Carl Hobbs from UConn calling from him. It's all these big time coaches, and I keep answering the phone, and they talking to me a little bit, telling me how good of a player I am, and what
Yeah.
what a good player Minnesota has got. You know what I'm saying? It started. I'm thinking now, damn, these big time coaches telling me I'm good. Am I doing the right thing? Did I commit too early? Damn, I'm starting to think like, right? And so Minnesota goes to the Final Four in 1996. 1996, 1996, they go to the Final Four. Bobby Jackson,
Yep.
Sam Jacobson,
Yep.
Quincy Lewis, all of
Courtney
those big time
James.
players, right?
Mm-hmm.
That next year, the majority of those guys was going to be gone, though. It wasn't going to be the same team, right? Only Courtney James was going to be returning, and he had a little bit of problems, right? He dealt with Quincy Lewis. Quincy Lewis was there, and it was going to be me, right? So it was going to be us three. But I just felt like we weren't ready to win a national championship. And I really wanted to win. That's my whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Come
That's
on,
the.
man. We just watched Mike Bibby do it as a freshman. We on that mindset. We trying to be one and done, basically. That's the mind for real. We trying to be one and done. Right, so I'm trying to go to the best team. So I visit Georgetown. I see the guys playing. I didn't play with them, but I seen them, and no, they didn't have what it took to win national championship. I went to Kansas. And I really was going to go to Kansas. Paul Pierce, Rafe LaFrance, and all them. I was going to go until I went to Connecticut and played with the guys at Connecticut. I saved Connecticut for my last visit, and I got to play with them.
Who was there at that time? Who'd you hoop with?
Richard Hamilton, Kevin Freeman, all the guys who I played with, but it was still Kirk King was there for the year before.
Yep.
A couple of those guys were still there, over there working out before they go on to their next thing. So we had a lot of guys in the gym at the time. So it was summertime, we're getting it in. So I come visit, we're playing, getting it in, and there's a legend that goes around that's that on my visit when I play with the guys, I'm this 17-year-old kid, basically. I'm telling Rick, yo, after you do that, go do that. Kevin, after you set that screen, roll, I'm going to hit you. I got it, right? So I'm being me, my character. I'm not being somebody that I'm not. But I'm, like we talked about, how you said that I was able to direct, I was able to control. I'm doing that same thing with these players as a freshman, right? I'm not even really thinking about it. It's just my character.
That's who you are.
So that's the legend going around. They were just in awe of this young guy coming in, telling all these guys what to do. And but that was me. When I played with them, I saw that we had everything that we needed to win a championship. They was just missing me. And I guess I was a little bit arrogant in thinking that, but real talk, it was the truth though. Right. So if it's the truth, you're not being arrogant. Right. So I was able to make that decision based off what I saw and how I played with them, and knowing that we had everything that it took to win a championship. So unfortunately, I had to make some tough decisions. The state of Minnesota they really didn't like that. Right? I've been facing a lot of those choices that I made back when I was 17. I still live through that now today with jobs and certain situations, man. I think a couple of corporations have gotten me back for that decision. But that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to win a national championship. I wanted to compete for a national championship, man. And it turns out, man, I think I made the right decision.
Just be blessed that you didn't have social media back then.
Oh, yes, sir.
Let's just count our blessings that
they
boy.
Oh my God.
they would. I know they still be inboxing you every now and again today. But back then, boy, they would have made you want to turn that computer off, man. For real.
I'd have got off of social media back then.
And I can attest to how good you made UConn immediately, because the year before, my first ever college game was against UConn, was against Ricky Moore. We played in the RCA Dome my freshman year. It was my coming out party. And we beat UConn, pretty easily that year. Yeah. And then the next year we played y'all in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
In the second round, and just inserting you, we had a really good game plan. First half, I think we were up by 8. Yes. And just you stepped up in the second half. Yeah. But if it wasn't for you, if you wasn't there, we would have won that game. So I personally can attest to, the leadership and the bravado and the swag that you were able to bring to that team. I think y'all went to the Elite 8 that year. I'm cool with losing to people who go to the Final Four, Elite 8.
That's right.
Or national champion. I'm cool with that. Yeah. When I lose to people that I know we should have beat, that's the things. Yeah, but man. I had no problem losing to Khalid El-Amin and Rip Hamilton that year. Well, I'm going to say one name, man, and I want you to tell me his impact on your life, Jim Calhoun.
Jim Calhoun, wow. A big impact. I think, and it's a legend going around Connecticut. A lot of the players before me, before I got to Connecticut, used to, they were scared of Coach Calhoun. He's always yelling, always cussing, always seems like basically he's angry or something. I grew up, and I come from the cloth that the point guard has to have a great relationship with the head coach. That's just the cloth that I'm cut from. We talk about the point guard being the extension of the coach on the floor. So I gotta know what you're thinking. We gotta be like this, right? So every day I'm walking in, it's the assistant coach's office first, and big guy's office at the end, right? I come in the office, hey, what's up? I can walk past all them and go right to his office every day, and we chop it up, right? I'm just asking about all his accolades. His office is filled with all his medal and all things he accomplished. So I'm talking, we just chopping it up. We're getting to know each other and all that. So we kind of had this good rapport, this good relationship. And a lot of players, they say, Ray Allen was scared of coach. Rip would never have done that. A lot of the big time players that seemed like they had a great relationship with coach would be a little bit scared of coach and standoffish from him. But I wanted that relationship. I thought it was vital to our success. And it turned out being vital to our success because he entrusted me with the ball. We didn't always have the same play called. We didn't always, go about doing things the exact same way, but we always had the end game, and that was to win. And we both shared that. I think we allowed our differences to be that, but we were together for the win. Coach Calhoun, he taught me how to have a sense of urgency. And I know you can attest to this about playing overseas. When we played in Europe, a lot of times the players, the players from the countries that we play in, seemed like they just didn't have a sense of urgency.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Everything was kind of laid back.
Yeah.
But if you were a top-notch player, they understood, right? They could have a sense of urgency. But the average everyday player just didn't have that sense of urgency. And me wanting to get something done, me wanting to win something and having that sense of urgency, it helped me not only in my basketball career, but in life in general. So that's what I learned from Coach.
Where do you get this early maturity to think about winning? Like, where did that come from? Because I'm just listening in amazement. I want kids to understand, like, that's a great outlier. That's a separator. When you're a person at your age, you talked about it in 8th grade, thinking about North winning championships, and you brought that. You talked about it in your college decision. When I was coming out, I wasn't a highly recruited, a highly rated player. So hindsight being 2020, I think that's why my mindset was different. I was just a guy that wanted an opportunity to play at that level.
Yeah.
You were thinking, if I'm a player at this level, I'm going to play on teams that win national championships. So when I went to my visit, I'm like, man, I'm trying to beat him out. I'm better than him. I'm going to play on this team. I'm going here. I was thinking like national championship, I probably would have went to Indiana.
Right.
Where did you get that from? Because I want kids to understand that they have to have that mentality if they want to become a winner.
Man, that's a great question.
Khalid, that ain't normal for an 8th grader to be thinking about that, bro. Like, or even your visit, like to be like, man, I'm looking at Georgetown and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm being honest. And
that's
I'm just being
important.
honest, man.
Yeah.
I was just being honest. And I don't know where it actually came from. I
Mhm.
just knew that when you won, people remember you, man. You are remembered when you win, man. I guess I have to go back to, again, the YMCA and my upbringing.
Right. Yeah.
Wanting to be on the court, not wanting to get off the court and have to wait 100 games to get back on. You got to win. You just got to win. So I think going through that YMCA, time in my life where you had to win, knowing that winning is the only time when everybody is happy, just understanding that, and when you win, you will be remembered. So I think just wanting to be a winner in everything that I did, though. My mother used to say, she used to quote scripture, right? Say that when a Muslim endeavors to do something, they seek to perfect it. So I just wanted to be a winner and wanted to be good at anything that I did. It didn't matter if it was my schoolwork, right? I wanted to do good. If it was a competition, I wanted to win. So, just wanting to be the best. That's all I can attribute to wanting to be the best. And, just the support of my family in that pursuit. They just supported me so much that that's what I wanted to do. And it was okay.
Man, that's important. And like I said, I will show people this part of the podcast because I got a daughter that's a point guard at the University of Illinois. And I'm trying to instill that in her. And it's hard for these kids nowadays. So because they didn't come up in that competitive environment where they were treated less than, where they had to compete at such a high level to develop that. So as parents, how do we put that into our kids and get them to understand? Like you said, something very profound. They're going to always remember winners. And how do I get that into her head? And I'm telling her, like, you want to go to Illinois, it's great. You in a great situation, but your mindset has to be in championship mode and in order to achieve that. You can go play and you have a fantastic career. That's our job as parents, is to help our kids understand that. So that's so profound. Moving along, bro. 98, 99, Ricky Moore, Rip Hamilton, Jake Foskel, Kevin Freeman. Man, you always wanted to win, but when you got into that program and you started working together and you started playing games and competing at a high level, when did you realize that you for sure had you a national championship team?
Oh, right. Well, we kind of always like that was the goal when my freshman year of trying to get there. So I always had high aspirations for the team. Always optimistic and thinking that we can do that. So that was from day one. But
Mhm.
really putting in the grind and getting better. I think after we won the Big East tournament my freshman year, right? So we
Right.
were the regular season champs, and then we played the Big East tournament. We played Syracuse in the championship, beat Eton Thomas' team. Eton was on social media talking a little bit. We won freshman year. I was
Yeah.
the MVP of the tournament. And so I think that's when it really clicked like, we really are good, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like we really we really can put a run together and do this thing. Then selection Sundays come out, and we see where we're at. We're in the East, the number
Mhm.
2 team, seed in the East. North Carolina's down there. We really thought that we had a good chance, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And how the games played out, we won. Right? We were in the Sweet 16 against Washington. Rip hit that last second shot off that putback that propelled us into the final 8. And we're playing against in North Carolina in Greensboro.
Oh, a home game.
Man, you talk about a tough environment to win a game, man. But we battled. We battled. We end up losing in the end,
Yeah,
right?
for
They
sure.
were a little bit better in the end. We were right there, though. We were right there. I think if we had Rick, if we had the junior year Rick on our sophomore team, we win. We go to the Final Four, right?
Yeah.
I think Rick grew up from
Yeah.
that game
Hmm.
till the next year. He got stronger, right? Mentally tougher.
Yeah.
And you see what happened when he did do that. I think it was just after the Big East tournament my freshman year when I
Hmm.
just like, man,
Hmm.
we got the team to do that. We got everything that we need. We just got to go out and play our best basketball.
You mentioned Rip Hamilton. What was y'all relationship as like as teammates? And did you foresee him being the superstar NBA player that he eventually became?
I did actually,
Yeah.
and I ain't gonna lie, I did see it. We were teammates at ABCD camp, and guess who else was on the team? Kevin Freeman.
Yeah.
Already. It
It was
wasn't
written.
it's for me. It wasn't hard, right? It was written. Kevin
Yeah.
Freeman had got hurt at ABCD camp, so he didn't play. But me and Rip was on the same team, and we was doing. I'm talking about we was doing good. I don't know if we lost the game. I don't think we lost the game. I'm talking about that backcourt. We was busting heads, bro. But playing with him there, he was skinny, running all everywhere, could shoot. He could do it all at 6'6", skinny. I was in awe. I didn't know we was going to end up going to the same school, but I'm like, man, this dude got game, bro. Just seeing him there, knowing he had game, and then how things transpired, and me watching him because I watched a couple of Connecticut's games. My senior year in high school when they won the preseason NIT. So seeing the team and watching him, knowing what he can do and how good of a shooter and player that he was, I was
Right.
like, man, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna make him even better.
You're
So
right.
that was
Yeah.
my idea, and I knew he was gonna make me better because dudes was gonna have to defend him, double team him sometime, and I know that's when I'm gonna eat. So I kind of wanted him to get off because I knew that's gonna make my job easier, and so I knew he was gonna be good though. As soon as I stepped on campus.
Shout out Rip Hamilton, man, one of the
So,
all-time greats, Detroit Piston champion, national champion. You helped deliver UConn's first national title.
mm-hmm.
That's facts,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now in the game, you struggled a little bit. 6 turnovers. You was pressing a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
you never was rattled though. Like you
No.
could tell because in the end you came through for the team with a
Yeah.
nice simple two-step floater on the
Yeah.
baseline
Mm-hmm.
and you scored the last 4 points of the game to help propel them. What do you remember most about that title game?
Man, it was such a team effort. Because like you said, I got a little bit of foul trouble early, had to come out. But my guy Albert
Mooring and Ricky Moore was hooping
he
too.
was the opportunities like he should. He was a pro.
Yeah.
Albert Morning came in and played. Edmund Saunders came in and played. Suleiman Wan came in and played. Elton Brand, Rashamel Jones, how he came in. We just had guys that they wasn't going to wow you with their game, right? But in this team setting, they was the complete players, glue guys that didn't care who got the notoriety, who wanted to see their brother succeed. That's all they wanted.
Yeah.
That's all they wanted to see their brothers succeed. They didn't care who got the credit, man. And when you run into a team like that, you're not going to beat that team because we're so tight. We got each other's backs. And I just remember, like, Albert coming into the game, doing his thing. He come at every time out, they come to the bench. You coming, your time's coming. This is what they saying to me when I'm on the bench. Like, how can't you come back in and be confident and make the right play when your brother's got your back like that? You know what I'm saying? So it was a total team effort that game. I'm just happy that I came through for the guys at the end because, that was my role. At the end of the game, to create something, make something happen, or to be the smart guy and wherever the game, whatever it called for, I had to be that guy. So if we had the lead and we had to keep the lead. We had to keep the ball, whatever the situation called for. And this time called for me, I had to score. I had to finish. I had to create something. So I was able to do that. Just happy I was able to come through for them and the university because coach really needed that because he was, always on the edge. And I knew history. I knew he'd never been to a Final Four. He always got to the Great Eight and then losing, or the Final Eight and then losing. So I wanted to help push him to the Final Four and then win a championship. So I had motivation coming from all angles. I just wanted to come through for the guys, and I was able to do that. And it's no better feeling, right, of winning a national championship with your brothers, man. Making it to the NBA was great, and it was a dream. But that's an individual accolade. That's an individual thing, man. It don't hit the same, right? But when you do it with your brothers, and you guys are all fighting for pushing and pulling the same way, and for it to end with a championship, is no better feeling than that. We deserve that. We deserve that. Coach deserved that. And, I take my hat off to Duke, though. They wasn't no punks. You know what I'm saying? We really had to play our A game, and we were able to do that.
One of the better national championship games. You had Elton Brand, you had Trajan Langdon, William Avery, you had Chris Carrawell, and you had yourself, Rip Hamilton, Albert Mooring, Jake Voskuhl out there hooping.
And for the game, though, growing up, they had us at a 10-point underdog, though, AJ. That kind of gave us a little more motivation, too, because we both were number one the whole season. We were number one first. We lost in February, and then they remained number one all the way to the tournament time. So we felt like 10 points was ridiculous. That gave us a little extra motivation to come out and play hard too.
Definitely ridiculous, but that's a shining moment for you. What's your relationship with UConn like today? I know you UConn royalty right now.
Yeah, we got good relationship, man. I'm trying to get on the staff, man. Last couple seasons, they're doing their thing, though. They're winning, and so I got to wait my turn. But, yeah, great relationship, man. Coach Hurley's doing a phenomenal job. Coach Moore is still on the staff. He was assistant coach when I was there. So, they're keeping people from the tree there, which I love. Hopefully, I'm next to get on the staff, and, man, we're going to keep it moving. But I love UConn. I go back every summer. I think all the guys try to get back at some point or another. If it's not to the campus, it's to support the team at game. Right. And UConn is like a big family atmosphere. Everybody's welcome. You should see the campus. Bro.
I know.
The campus, from when I was there to right now, you can get lost on that campus, man. Like, seriously, like, it's ridiculous. The living quarters, the locker room, just... Oh my God. And they got sleeping pod. Yeah, they got top-notch everything. It's hard not to go to the next level from when you go there, man. It's hard. It's because you don't want it if you don't go from there, man.
Exactly. Or you got too much too early. And
Yes.
that's a whole nother podcast, man. That NIL and the development. After your junior year, 16 points, 4 assists a game, all Big East, all everything. You decide to go hardship, taking your talents to the NBA. What went into that decision to go hardship?
It was a lot going into that. Man, the NCAA was on my heels for some reason, man. I don't know what they wanted. The NCAA was trying to get me on something like I was receiving benefits and I wasn't receiving no benefits, man. And so they was going to try to make me miss a couple of games, even my junior year, but coach wasn't having it. And that's another reason why I respect coach. He ain't going to let nobody up with his team, especially if it's so much love to Coach Calhoun. It was a lot, man. I think that I was going to go after we won a championship. I had some intelligence telling me to stay. I was getting a little bit bored a little bit and doing too much.
Yeah,
You know what
right.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it was ready for me to make the jump and start, my professional career. And a lot of hard work went in preparing for that. I think we had a good class. Looking at guys' career in our class, the balls fall where they may. I was selected 34 overall, and I just wanted an opportunity. Yes, I wanted to go first round, but me being selected and having an opportunity, I just wanted to prove myself. Being a second round pick with an unguaranteed contract, I was able to not only make the team and get a guaranteed contract, being able to start the first 14 games, I think says a lot about my game, about what the coaches trusted in me. Me making, the rookie all-star game, I think speaks to that also. I still have, bad taste in my mouth. I didn't have the longevity that I would have liked to have had. I had to pivot and go to Europe, which was a blessing for me. But I would have loved to have stayed in the NBA longer. But I was able to pivot and go to Europe and have a great career. The NBA is the best players in the world. You got to just respect it.
The NBA is a grind. Like you just alluded to, you had very good success early. You played, you started, you got to compete against some of the best in the world. I still remember games where I'm out there watching you and you guarding Stephon Marbury, and we over there laughing at you. Me and Jamal over there crying because we all needed help with Stephon Marbury. And
I'm telling you. Just think though, you're playing against Allen Iverson one night. Then the turnaround, you got Stephon Marbury, and then the night after that, you got Travis Best, and then after that, you got Gary Payton. And then after that, you got John Stockton. So you don't really get a night off. I don't think people understand that. Again, I'm 5'9" and 3/4. The NBA, you have to be able to defend one-on-one, and I think that wasn't my strong point. Being able to defend such athletic, quick guys, guys that's bigger than me, that's faster than me. So it was difficult. You needed your teammates, you needed guys to help, but that's the difference between being, playing in the NBA and playing overseas or college. You do not get a night off.
No, you did an excellent job, man. You were all rookie. You were in the Rising Stars Challenge. But what I want to know is, from your standpoint, what you can share is what changed. What I want to say what went wrong for you to not be able to have the longevity that you were destined from the beginning to achieve. What was the change?
I think it was a couple of things. I think it's part of the business too, right? I think we have to understand that NBA is a business. And unfortunately for me, I was a second round pick and we had some first round picks and some guys that was making more money than I made that I think management really wanted them to be on the court and really wanted them to, I don't want to say to do better than me, but wanted them to be successful. You're drafting them so high, you want them to be successful, so they're going to be on the court. Right? So you deal with a lot of things like that. But also, I think I could have worked a little bit harder. I could have spent more time in the gym, not being upset that I wasn't playing and and looking at it as a negative on me, but no, using that as motivation. And I think I can say we because we was there, we didn't
Yep.
have that veteran that really took us under a wing. I think people looked at us as competition, and I don't want to say was intimidated. I will never say that, but I would say that they really looked at it like they were competing against us. So they weren't going to pull us under their wing and show us how to be a pro, right? And I think that was something that I learned from that year is how to be a pro. Right. I didn't know how to be a pro up to that point. I did everything off my talents, basically.
Yeah, you
I was
did.
coached, yes. I was worked out, yes. But like you said, the NBA is a grind. Knowing
Yep.
that the first 14 games that I started, Coach Floyd came to me when we was in Portland. He was
Yep.
like, hey, your time is going to go down substantially. You're not going to play the minutes you was playing. Management want to see whoopie-woo in them.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. You didn't do nothing wrong, but that's what's
Yep.
going to happen, and that's what's it. And
That's a real thing.
Huh?
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing. That's exactly what happened. You just told me I didn't do nothing wrong. So why is my minutes going down? You already told me that the management wanted to see it, but I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you didn't hear that part.
I didn't hear that part. All I'm hearing is that my minutes is going down and I didn't do nothing wrong. That's what I chose to hear. And I didn't have that veteran be like, Lynn, it's a long season, brother. Keep working, stay in shape. Your time is going to come back around. I didn't have that guy doing that, right? I start feeling sorry for myself, start blaming, right? And I think, that was part of the reason why, because I didn't show that I was still hungry to them. If I would have showed them that I'm still hungry and stayed in the gym and just constantly in the gym, I think it could have been a different outcome, maybe, right? I take full responsibility for that part right there. Being young, not being mature enough to stay the course and continue to get better while you weren't playing. That's a real thing.
I used to be warming up on the court sometimes, and the trainer would come up to me and ask me what injury I would like to have today. I would put everything on the right side of the body, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, right knee, like all that. So what he's saying is a real thing, and that it affects you mentally if you don't have the right leadership and veterans around you to help you understand what he was experiencing is the business.
Yes.
And we knew nothing about that. We like,
Nothing.
no, best player play. No, money plays.
Yes.
Like you understand that the money plays.
Yes.
But you go from winning everything to getting cut twice to getting released. How did that affect your mental health? Like at that time, now that you're an adult and you understand what you were going through then, because at the time you just projected, but how did that affect your mental health experiencing that failure for the third time? You talked about experiencing that in when you were 6 or 7 years old and you got cut for the first time. How was it experiencing it as you're in your early adult years?
I was blessed to be married at that time, man. I think I would have had a negative effect on me if I wasn't married, man. My spouse was my best friend. She was my psychiatrist, right? She was that for me. She made it easy to get through that, always positive, always let me know that there's a bigger picture. This isn't it, right? This isn't where your career is going to stop at, right? Never allowing me just to stay down. To my ex-wife at the time, or to my wife at the time, my ex-wife now, but she was everything. She helped me get through that situation. And just think, man, AJ, I went from playing with the Bulls to in Bismarck, North Dakota. Just going from Chicago and driving to Bismarck, North Dakota, you're going to have little mental health issues during that drive, right? And then you're getting in and seeing the facilities, and then you're living in a Best Western or something, like one of them small chain hotels. So you're living there. You're eating fast food. They're giving you tickets for all the fast food. Like, we were told not to eat this. Like, this ain't the food we're supposed to be eating,
Right.
Having to deal with that. And I think it showed in my game. I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
it showed in my game. So guess what? They got my ass out of there. They
Yeah.
sent
Yep.
me to Gary. I got
Dang.
traded from North Dakota to Gary. I'm a little
Dang.
bit closer to Chicago, though.
Yeah.
A little bit closer to Chicago, to my
Right.
family. I got a lot of family in Chicago. I'm okay, so this is a little bit better. I'm getting my swag back. You know, my game is coming back now. I'm working out a little bit better now. Now my game is starting to come back. And
Yeah.
now I really got in shape, got my feet up under me. So my agent, man, I'm ready to go to Europe. He
Yeah.
found something in Europe and I was gone. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
make that money up, man. Like, I was guaranteed for that year. But I felt like, I need to make something up, So
Mm-hmm.
me being able to go over to Europe and make a little bit of money, that kind of really helped me and my mental health. So I went over there, played decent, not great, played decent because again, I'm in France, my first time overseas. Guess who I played with?
Oh,
J.R. Reed.
wow. North
Me and
Carolina
J.R.
legend.
Reed was on the same team in France. It was a great experience, man. Him being an older guy, and he was like damn near 30, high 30. I remember looking at him. You was born in 1960, whatever he was born in, right? I'm talking about he was older. I'm like laughing at him. Now, my last couple years when I was professional, dudes is laughing at me like, you were born in 79? Like,
Yeah.
like,
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
so it was full circle, but that was a fun experience, man. Learned a lot from him, like being a professional in Europe. You know what I mean? I was just able to pivot, went to France, and then after France, I went to Israel. Played in Israel, had a good season in Israel, then went to
Yeah.
Turkey. I was able to pivot, go to Europe, and I built myself up. First couple of years, I had to prove that I was a good player. I was able to do that. And then I went to Turkey, and my career kind of took off from Turkey, man. I love Turkey, Istanbul, man. Oh, whew. It's a great time.
It's incredible how parallel our lives. Not talking to you for years because once I got cut, I'll never forget. I got cut by the Lakers in 2002, I think it was. And I thought I was on the team. I thought I had it. Me and Shaq was cool. Me and Kobe was cool. And that man called me up to the office and cut me, Phil Jackson. And I cried my butt off, man.
Yes, yes.
But after that, I went to Huntsville, Alabama. I had to take a ride down to Huntsville to go play for the Huntsville Flight in the D League.
Oh, okay.
And just like you, played good but not great. I'm
Yeah,
down there playing against Rayford Austin. I don't even remember who on my team. That's how much I ain't want to be there.
right.
And then I get that call to go to Europe, man, and I went, hated it, man. Because I fought it at first.
Yeah,
More so, it was the embarrassment of not
yeah.
being in the league. It
You know
wasn't
what?
even,
And that's a real thing.
yeah. I was embarrassed. Now I'm an adult. I'm thinking like, why the hell would I be embarrassed because I didn't stay in the NBA? Like, if I didn't stay in the CBA or the
Right.
D League, all right. But I'm embarrassed because I'm a small town kid that made it to the league. Only
Shit.
4 people in my whole city ever even touched the floor. So I went over there and fought it for a little bit. But what I want to ask you about is how did it impact you as a person to live outside of the US? Because it changed it was the thing that I didn't like the most at first, but it ended up being the thing that changed me the most. And I just wanted to know, did it have that type of impact on you?
It did. Going over there, you have so much downtime
Mhm.
that you really have to be strong in the person you are. You're spending so much time away from your family. You're spending so much time away from home.
Yep.
And thank God for technology, but it still is not the same. You can't touch them. You can see them and all of that. We had Skype and all of these things that help ease the distance in between us, but it still isn't the same. So if you're not a strong person in your character and who you are, it's going to be tough for you to be in Europe. I think me being strong and in the person that who I was and knowing the person that I was really helped me. But just seeing the world different from a different standpoint. We're not getting Fox News. We're not getting all of these local news stations. So you're watching BBC and you're watching Al Jazeera, and you're watching all of these other news outlets from other countries, and you see them reporting on, things that's going on in the world, and it seems like it's different from how it is at home. And then you get to look like how the rest of the world views America. It's not always pleasant.
Yo, it wasn't.
It's not
at
always a
all.
good thing, man.
Nope.
And sometimes you be embarrassed.
Yep.
You be embarrassed from being American sometimes. I love the country that I live in. I love America. I wouldn't want to live, really nowhere else, really. But when you see some of the things, some of the policies that they have for these countries over there, and you see a lot of the things that we have done and how it's affecting other people, you start thinking, like, was that the right thing to do? Like, did we have to do that? Like, and so you're seeing the world from a different angle, and it does have an effect on you. I don't want us to have such a bad effect on other people in the world. Right? If it's good for us but bad for them, it's not good for us there, right? So just seeing that effect that it's had on other people in the world really touched me. And I had a lot of respect, especially for the country that I was playing in, the city that I was in, the people, the fans, hard workers, good people, right? And everyday people. I just wanted them to feel that I was really giving my all and in 100%, and I was fighting for their team, fighting for the club. I want to respect them, and I want them to know that I'm fighting my hardest for them. So being in Europe has changed me, man, in that type of aspect.
Life after basketball, brother. When did you know it was over?
I was in Venezuela. 2017, bro. I was like 38. The game was the game, but I didn't have the effect on the game like I was used to. And I don't think, an average El-Amin is the person that you are, right? So I was kind of feeling it then, but a little bit before that, right? Playing in Germany, still doing my thing, just couldn't carry the team like I wanted to, right? Or do the necessary things on a consistent basis throughout the whole 40 minutes of the game, right? I can only really be effective for half the game now. And if I got to really play D, the half of that half of the game. So you're going to get a good 10, 12 minutes. And then the rest, we'll see. If I'm hot, I kind of felt it. My last couple of seasons, I needed to be looking for the next thing. And I always thought staying around the game and getting to the coaching game was what I wanted to do. I decided to take that route. I coached high school. I was the head coach for 2 seasons, assistant coach for like 3 seasons in high school. Then I moved up. I wanted to move up, right? So I said, I'm going to start at JUCO. I'm going to start coaching college at JUCO to really get my reps, get my head coaching reps in on a college level, just learn and soak up this good, JUCO game. I found myself at JUCO doing more off the court coaching than on the court coaching. I did that for a couple of years, and now I'm at the stage where I'm trying to move up again. I'm trying to either go, higher college or to some pros, or playing in pro. I'm doing the NBA assistant coaches program, so I'm getting reps at making scouting reports, watching film, doing a lot of those things that an assistant coach would do. So just steady getting reps and trying to stay ready so I don't have to get ready when the timing is right. I think we both know, man, this coaching is not always what you know. It's who you know and it's timing. So I'm just waiting my turn. And man, just trying to stay hungry and stay ready.
Last 2 questions, man, because I want to be respectful of your time,
That's right.
man. I know we can go on for 3, 4 hours.
Yes, we can.
Talking this game, but I want to be respectful. If the now Khalid El-Amin could talk to the rookie year Khalid, what would you tell yourself?
Man, stay patient. I would be that savvy veteran in my ear, man. Stay hungry. Show them what they're missing when you come back. I'd have been working on defense all day, every day, trying to be a more explosive defensive player, because I knew that was my niche, right? I had to find a niche, and I think, and I'll be honest, coming into the NBA, I think I came in with too much of an offensive mindset. I should have been more of the average point guard, getting the ball to the scorers, getting the ball where it needs to be, and I'm the last option. You know what I mean? And so I kind of had the wrong approach. The older El-Amin understands that now. I'm playing with Elton Brand. This guy was the rookie of the year. Like, he needs to have the ball in his hand. Like, I'm playing with Ron Mercer, the best transition player damn near in the league. Like, you need to be pushing that bitch and getting it out to him in open air so he can get down here. I'm playing with Fred Hoiberg, a good shooter. I need to be fine. Like, getting the ball to these guys consistently and then pick and choosing my spots. I made the NBA on who I was, so I'm thinking that's what they want. Which, unfortunately, our coaching staff, we didn't have that coach to be like, hey, look, do it like this, man. Do it like this. Like, we had guys, hey, if he telling you to do it, hey, if you ain't do it right, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we had a coach that really believed. I don't think I had the coaches staff that believed it. Yet they didn't have no say so in me getting drafted. I don't think they had no say so as far as none of that. You know what I mean? So I don't think. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. I think you maximized your opportunity. Things happen, and we all wish we had those veteran presence. We all wish we could turn back that clock and do it a little bit different. But in God's timing, it happened exactly the way it was supposed to happen. And I'm very, very proud of you. I'm very proud of myself. I'm proud of anybody who makes it to the NBA and has the opportunity to play at that level, whether it's 2 games or 50 or 100 games or LeBron style 23 years. It's only 5,500 of us that touch that court. And it's part of the reason why I do this, man, to keep our legacies alive.
That's
and not let people suppress your accomplishments simply because part of it didn't work out the way that they thought it should have. So that's been very important to have that mindset. It's God's timing, and it is what it is, and you got to accept it and move forward and do what you're doing now, which is pour back into a generation that you're removed from, that still needs that same mentorship and push that you were talking about that you didn't have. So that's what's most important now, and that's what you're doing. So you're right where you need to be. My last question, man, it's a hypothetical. Okay. It's the game for it all. You got to win this game to keep your life, but you get to pick only 4 players on this team to play with you, to play against this unknown competition. What 4 players?
The players that I played with, or
you're the point guard. Any player ever played the game at their peak. So any player that ever played the game at their peak, you the point guard of this team, and you got to pick 4 players to go win this game. Who you picking?
Man. Man, I'm gonna get my big man that I played with overseas, Rocco Varda. He's gonna be my 5 man. He played in the NBA before. He played with Utah. He was so skilled. He could step out. He was like an Al Horford, but bigger. He could shoot the 3. He could put the ball down, back you down, play with his back to the basket. He could pass. He could just do it all from the 5 position. I would run with him at my 5. Ooh, 4 man. Ooh. Wow, the 4. I'm gonna go with guys that I played with. Okay, I'm just gonna do that.
It could be anybody, Khalid. It could be played with, favorite players, whoever. Who you need to win this game, though.
We need to win this game, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so my 4th, damn. I'm gonna put KG at the 4, man.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm gonna put KG at the 4, Rocco at the 5. Damn. I'm gonna run the point.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have Jordan and Kobe with me, man.
Mike and Kobe. We got
Woo!
Mike, Kobe, KG, and Varda, and we running the floor. And there you have it, Minnesota legend, UConn national champion, 1998 gold medalist. We ain't even get to talk about that experience, but we will next time. NBA pro, global hooper, Khalid El-Amin. Follow the show, Twitter, IG, YouTube, and TikTok. Shooters Corner Podcast. Listen and subscribe on Spotify and Apple. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I want to keep encourage all of you guys. Keep shooting for the love, not for the likes. Thanks for joining me, my brother. I appreciate you.
Man, it's all love. I appreciate it. It was an honor to be on. And
Yes,
I'm just
sir.
going to leave this one thing with you, man.
Yep.
Remember, we had our first preseason game in New York?
Yep.
You started that game. You remember that?
No, I didn't. No, I don't remember that.
You started that game, and you was guarding Chris Childs, right?
Word.
Yes, you picked him up full court, and you made it look easy, man. And you gave me confidence, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that like it was yesterday. I'm like, this man is out there guarding Chris Childs like it's easy, right? And I was watching, and I was like, you gave me confidence, bro. I want to just tell you that even though we was battling, you was my brother, and I always wanted to see you succeed, bro.
I appreciate that, and I'm just so you know, that's what you said when you came up to me in the club. That's what you said. You said, man, you gave me confidence. You didn't say why. Yeah. It was like, man, I just watched you kill, and you gave me confidence. And I was like, nah, we ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just glad to see you, bro. Because that, you know what I'm saying? Because that was sour memories for both of us. Because both of us
would have been crying in that mug.
Yeah, we would have been in that mug holding hands and in the corner crying, man. So I was like, no, but that's what you said. Yeah. You said I messed up, but you gave me confidence to believe that I could play in the league. That's what you said. So that just bring that whole conversation full circle.
All right.
This is a joy for me, man. The best ever, one of the greatest basketball players ever to play the game. Man, and that's not a lot. I'm not saying that because you're sitting here. Your accolades say that. It's what they say. And you wear that stuff on your chest, and you be proud of telling these stories. Keep telling these stories. Any kid that will listen, if you're not in that circle, they try to silence you by not hearing your story. And that's why I created this podcast.
That's love.
We gonna tell our stories. So anytime you want to tell a story, call me.
Okay. Love, baby.
But love, man. Appreciate you, man.
God bless.
God bless you, man. Love you, boy.
Love, buddy. Peace.